Welcome to the Ohio State Football Report. Billy Beebe with you, obviously at home, just 2 days into the job, and forced with the breaking news of the Michigan Connor Stalions cheating scandal sanctions coming down. Had to jump on and get a video going and reacting to that news. Got to shout out Pete Thamel of ESPN. He's been the one all over this and making sure he got that stuff out right away before anyone even predicted. So we appreciate you guys jumping on and checking this out. This is big news for Buckeye fans. This is big news for college football fans, as I'm already reading the room and people not happy. You can drop down in the comments, FTTUN, FTTUN. That's what I want to see. I think we can just decode what that is for either Ohio State fans or college football fans. You can let your stress out by commenting that on the video. So we did get the results from the Connor Stalions cheating scandal. Pete Thamel was all over it and actually gave the details before we even predicted. You're going to see some financial stuff. We're going to get that in layman's terms. We're also going to get the discussion of show cause orders, scholarships lost, no postseason ban. I think that might be the biggest one for people, would be the postseason ban. I know people felt that was the line, right? That was the line, that they need to have a postseason ban, that would let us know that this was real, that it's a quality punishment, was the postseason ban. So let's start there. There is none. That was not on there. That is not something that Michigan will have to deal with, being banned from the playoffs. And an older NCAA punishment that they also, is not as much a thing anymore and most likely won't be in the future is wins stripped away. Right, I look back at Ohio State and that 11-12 tattoo stuff. They had Sugar Bowls, Big Ten. They had a season stripped away. And we won't compare apples and oranges too much in this video, but that's not a thing anymore. So no postseason ban and no real acknowledgement of the national title or the playoff appearances over the last few years being stripped away in any sort of way from Michigan. Now, you'll see the word show cause order a lot in the punishments for Connor Stalions, for Jim Harbaugh, for Denard Robinson, who played a role, the former Michigan quarterback, player personnel role within the team over the past few years. He's now a high school football coach. We'll get back to that in just a second. Show cause order. Look, this is an appearance before the NCAA, basically to explain why you're not too much at fault or at fault at all for the thing you're in trouble for, and you should be able to coach again. The big thing with show cause orders are there to prevent a coach from, and this is essentially what Harbaugh did in a different way, but leaving the job you're at, leaving the mess you made, going to a new place and saying, I want to start fresh here, let's just worry about this. This has nothing to do with that. I'm at this school because everything over there got too messy. Show cause order would require them to appear before the NCAA and essentially explain why they should be able to coach again in a role and be a part of a program again. Now, Harbaugh's gone. He's out. As I said, Harbaugh's in the NFL. Denard Robinson, a high school football assistant coach right now, and Connor Stalions doing Netflix docs, right? Running around. I think he's a high school football coach, Connor Stalions. So they have no reason to appear before the NCAA and try and argue for their job there. So no hurt to those guys. Gone. The punishment within that, not much there. Now, Sherrone Moore does have a 2-year show cause order, and they are by year. So Harbaugh has a 10-year, Stalions an 8. Robinson has a 3-year. Sherrone Moore only a 2-year. But the thing with Sherrone Moore, and we'll get to what hit for him in just a second, he's been serving punishments, right? He's been suspended from games. He's been dealing with some infractions they've already laid down from the NCAA on Michigan. So he's essentially already dealt with it. So the idea of him having to explain, and he's not going to have to go through that process at risk because he's already paying for everything that's going on. And that includes, and the terminology on this is extremely interesting, he will miss the season opener against Buffalo next season. The panel, Michigan imposed a 2-game suspension for Moore during the upcoming 2025-2026 football season. The panel determined that a suspension for 1 additional game was appropriate. Therefore, Moore will be suspended for the first game of 2026-2027. Yes, he is sitting out throwaway games this season. He will sit out a throwaway game next season. Buffalo. That is the game he will miss. Buffalo. And I know the 2 games he'll miss this season, also throwaway games. So you look at the show cause order, the missing of games, the NCAA watching what you're doing. Sherrone Moore's the only one paying here. And he's already paid a piece of it and is paying it now. And again, I'm missing the Buffalo game next year. That'll be his punishment there. Now, some financial penalties for sure, but the reaction of them is what's kind of making me upset. Total tab, Pete Thamel feels will be in about the $30 million range for Michigan. 10% of the football program budget. That's around $7. 2-year postseason fine is expected to be around $20 million. There's also, they don't lose scholarships, but they're losing 10% of, I believe it's money on the scholarships or some type of terminology there. They're not losing actual scholarships to give, is money within that. So again, about $30 million they're going to be cost here, right? So again, I think a lot of people feel that this is a bit of a slap on the wrist for Michigan. I know the joke, Ohio State fans thought a hammer was coming. They thought something big was coming against Michigan. Nope, that's where we're standing. $30 million, and in the immediate reaction I'm seeing in a lot of comments, a lot of Michigan fans, and again, you can drop down in the comments, FTTUN, FTTUN. Oh, chump change. That's chump change. I'll pay that over and over. Let's pay that over and over, time and time again. I'll pay that for a national championship. I saw Florida State fans saying, hey, we got a similar punishment for a coach driving a recruit somewhere, giving him a ride. It's worth the national title. That's the reaction. Worth it, worth it. Shouting from the back when they saw this suspension, when they read this suspension. 3 people responsible for this gone, and don't talk Michigan much, unless you're on a Netflix documentary. And the one guy really paying and taking this whole thing on, it's almost done for him, right? It's a slap on the wrist. Nothing for the Wolverines here. The hammer, the talk of big things coming, the historic change coming to college football is not here. It did not drop today with the news of the Connor Stalions Michigan cheating scandal punishment for Michigan. Again, the punishments for Harbaugh, Stalions, Denard Robinson, they're gone. They won't matter. I can't imagine Jim Harbaugh really wants to get back into coaching college football anytime soon. And if he does, time will have been lost. Time will be gone. You know, time heals all wounds, right? He'll move on from there. They are on a 4-year probation, $30 million, right? Scholarships, postseason fines, 10% of the football budget. Yes, it's going to add up to about $30 million. But again, the reaction, chump change. Worth it, worth it. That's what they're shouting. That's what other fan bases are shouting right now for Michigan. And Ohio State fans, I think really just sitting back and unsurprised. Upset, no doubt. I imagine you'd have to be, but unsurprised, right? For me personally, I am not surprised by this. I didn't think anything big was coming. It's disappointing from the NCAA. That's where I land on this. I don't scream that's unfair. I don't try and dig too much back into Ohio State's suspension. However, I will just say, I'll leave my thoughts. I remember in 11-12, I just felt that punishment for the tattoo scandal with the Buckeyes. I felt a season was gone, reputations were tarnished, our coach was forced to resign, and a damn good season the next year was lost in 2012 when the Buckeyes went undefeated, when Braxton Miller showed up and showed out, and they ended the season with nothing. And all this Bryce Underwood talk, the Michigan buildup, the swagger they have now from the well-deserved swagger they have from beating the Buckeyes the past couple of years, they can carry that this season. They can have that this season. Disappointing stuff from the NCAA. Interested to get your guys' reaction. You can drop down into the comments. Give me your thoughts or stick with that FTTUN. I will know what you mean by that, whether you're an Ohio State fan or an NCAA football fan, college football fan. Overall, I'd love to hear from other fan bases about this. Disappointing stuff from the NCAA as Michigan getting a slap on the wrist for the Connor Stalions cheating scandal.